NHL Soviet Series 83. In game number 1, Wayne Gretzky scores his first of 2 goals. Edmonton 2, Soviets nothing. Early third period, Soviets gain momentum. Koshepnikov scores. It's a tie at 2. Messier then beats Moishkin from a sharp angle. The Oilers lead 3-2, and they go on to beat the Soviet Union 4-3. Greetings and welcome to the Colisée de Québec. Tonight, the Quebec Nordicks versus the Soviet national team in game number 2 of NHL Soviet Series 1983. 2 nights ago in the Northlands Coliseum, the Edmonton Oilers shocked the Soviets by winning 4-3. Can it happen again? We'll see.
The Soviets were not unimpressive in losing to Edmonton. Certainly the Oilers had a clear advantage in play. We expect that Tretiak will be in goal for the Soviet Union in this game tonight. Game 2 of a 6-game series. Not so for Alexander Maltsev. The veteran, 33, broke a bone in his hand. Maltsev is heading back to Moscow. He'll miss the rest of the play.
No Soviet hockey team likes to lose a game, and I'm sure that Coach kicking off in the past 2 days has been working hard and preparing his charges, hoping that they can bounce back in this series tonight. They'll have to play better than they played the other night in Edmonton if they want to get back in this series in 1983.
Well, it's been a tough travel schedule for the Soviets all the way from the west here to Quebec City for tonight's game. We're eagerly awaiting the Quebec Nordics versus the Soviet Union.
NHL Soviet Series 83. Brought to you by Labatt's, brewers in Canada since 1828.
Again, I'm Ron Roosh, along with the general manager of the Minnesota North Stars, Lou Nanne. And Lou, we saw, I think, an upset, really, in Edmonton, 4-3. The Oilers winning that first game. Maybe it wasn't an upset to you, I don't know. But what can we expect coming into the second game now?
Well, Ron, I think it was an upset. Everybody expected the Soviets to come in and win. Edmonton really didn't have much time to prepare. But I think the Soviets tonight, you can expect them to try and do the same thing they were trying to do against Edmonton. They like to get the opposition into outman situations. They love getting 2-on-1, 3-on-2 breaks. Edmonton playing a very disciplined style of play. Always had that third man back for the most part. They only got caught about 3 times in the whole night, and that's not much for Edmonton. And you can expect the Russians to try and get that puck up quicker, try and isolate a man so that they can work their sharp passing plays. I would expect Quebec to be very sharp and knowing that that's what the Russians are going to try and do and make sure they got that back checker back. Otherwise, they're going to be in trouble.
We saw something in that first game, all-out offense in the first period. The Soviets kind of brought this to North American hockey, this international style. The National Hockey League has kind of taken it about 3 steps further. They really like to gang you, especially early in a game.
Well, the National Hockey League has done it, but Edmonton to a great extent. Edmonton, as you know, a very offensive-minded hockey club. Quebec also is. Quebec has got one of the most explosive teams in the league, Edmonton probably being the most explosive. But I think you're going to see a lot of that in this whole series. The National League does start to use their defensemen in the play much more than they had in the past. This is something we've moved towards the Russians. At the same time, the Russians moving towards us with a more physical game and probably dumping the puck in more than they used to.
All right, it's a tale of 2 defenses. The Oilers played a superb game defensively. They didn't get caught hardly at all the other night. Now we're looking at the Quebec Nordics defense. If there's a suspect area on this hockey team, it might be back at the blue line. What are they going to have to do to help it out?
Well, they're going to have to do the same thing Edmonton did, and that was get a lot of help from the forwards. Back deep, you always have to have one man. You want to take away the center of the ice of the Soviets. The thing you try to do is make sure that you're neutralizing the play, get them in the neutral zone as often as possible. And that's what Quebec could expect to do. If they put a lot of pressure on their own defense like the Soviets do on theirs, Quebec will be in for a tough night.
Well, we're looking for a great hockey game. We're going to see Vladislav Tretiak tonight. That's going to make a difference, I think, mentally to the Soviet team.
Well, not only that, Michigan lost the game on a bad goal. If you give up a goal a game, that's an 80-goal scorer a year. He let a bad goal on Messi on the short side. And if Tretiak had done that in the past, he wouldn't be playing for 10 years as he has for the Soviets.
He means so very, very much to that hockey team. All right, well, we're just about set out at an ice level. I think the teams are about ready to come on the ice, so let's switch things upstairs now to Don Chevrier and Tom Watt.
Thank you, Ron. Tom Watt, the coach of the Winnipeg Jets, with us tonight for Game 2 of this series. The Soviets looking for revenge from the 4-3 loss they absorbed at the hands of the Oilers in Edmonton of the Northlands Coliseum. And again tonight, this arena here in Quebec, the Coliseum, is an absolute sellout. As a matter of fact, as many as 2,000 requests for tickets came too late and had to be turned away. Tretiak will be in goal for the Soviet Union. Vladimir Mushkin played the first game. And as a matter of fact, with all his heroics, his average of 3.18 as he comes out now, in games against National Hockey League teams over the years, Tretiak has yet to shut out Team Canada or the National Hockey League. He gets a tremendous reception, Tretiak does, standing at the blue line, awaiting the next Soviet player in the starting lineup, the captain, Vyacheslav Fetisov, an outstanding defenseman, number 2, coming out. The starting forward, number 9, Vladimir Krutov. And now that's the other defenseman. Kazatanov, number 7, Alexei Kazatanov coming out. Now it'll be Krutov, number 9. Viktor Tikhonov admonished his team for not shooting enough the other night. He wants more shots. Traditionally, the Soviets have not shot nearly as much as they did against the Edmonton Oilers. Igor Larionov, he'll win his share of faceoffs and more, number 11, as we saw the other night. And the other forward is number 28, Viktor Timonov, the starting lineup for the Soviet Union tonight. And now for the Quebec Nordiques. Starting in goal will be number 35, Dan Bouchard. On defense, number 22, Mario Marois. The other defenseman, Quebec's team captain, number 28, Andre Dupont. The center, number 32, is Dale Hunter. And then two of the three famed Stastny brothers from Czechoslovakia, Anton Stastny. And there's a great debate, but perhaps the man who's some regard to be the best of them all coming out now, Marion Stastny. The third brother, Peter, has missed the last few games and is not in the lineup for Quebec tonight, but it's the first time the Stastnys have faced the Soviets since the Olympic Games of Lake Placid. Of course, the marvelous story of how the Nordik's got them out of Czechoslovakia over to play in the National Hockey League.
Now, get pictures of every cousin.
Everyone, Grandma? Glad I just put the Energizer in here.
Of all leading battery brands, nothing outlasts the Energizer from Ever-Ready. Nothing outsnaps it. Nothing outadds, outwalks, outplays, outtapes, outshines, outlasts it. Nothing.
Now me with each grandchild.
No problem. With the Energizer.
The Energizer. Energize for life.
Long life.
Energize me!
We've just found a way to stop winter cold. New Hot Shots. Amazing little hand warmers that keep your hands warmer than ever when you're out in the cold. Just open the plastic wrap and Hot Shots heat up in 2 minutes. Stay warm and toasty for 3 whole hours. New Hot Shots from Johnson's Wax. They stop winter cold.
On
Only a few of the things we eat today have been around for a long time. Basic traditional foods, like bread, like butter. And if you wanted to, you could still make them the same way, even using the same ingredients. You can't say that for everything you get on the market these days. Butter has always had wholesome goodness and great taste. Butter, there's nothing like it.
The ceremonial exchange of gifts just out of the way. And now we are ready for the singing of the two national anthems of the Soviet Union and Canada. The anthem singer here in the Coliseum in Quebec is Guy Lavoie. So the crowd will settle in now for what should be a great second game in this six-game series, Tom Watt.
Well, there was a lot of controversy before the game as to the complement, again, of how many players were dressed, but I see that the Soviet Union have 22 players dressed, which is the International Ice Hockey Federation rule, and talking to Michel Bergeron before the game, he says he's only got 21 players, and he's dressing the 21 that he has on the roster. So the Soviets, who sometimes like to play in five-man units, play in 4 5-man units, and their 2 goaltenders. I think that's a little bit of an advantage to them to be able to dress 22 hockey players, but Quebec, they're only dressing 21.
And it may happen to other NHL teams as you go through Montreal and Calgary, Minnesota, Philadelphia, around the league. The Soviets could have a slight advantage, but as you say, that is the international way, and this is certainly an international game here. On the second last day of 1982, the Quebec Nordikes and the Soviet Union. They're just taking away the red carpet from the opening ceremonies. Moments from now, we'll be underway. Ron Wicks is the referee. There you look at Tretiak, his first start of this series. Ray Scampanello and Will Norris are the 2 linesmen. Tretiak, who burst into prominence in 1972, was scouted by people from the National Hockey League as not being very strong. And what a surprise he turned out to be when he played Team Canada. Dan Bouchard in goal for Quebec.
Well, Danny Bouchard has had his problems. He had a hand injury earlier in the season, but he's back now. And Of course, Daniel Bouchard is one of the premier goaltenders in the National League, so we've got two excellent goaltenders playing here tonight.
And the Quebec team, like the Edmonton team, very eager to win. For the National Hockey League and the National Hockey League Players Association receive the proceeds from this series. Ariana lost the face-off for the Quebec Nordiques. Marois, the defenseman, brings it down the right side, quickly lost control. Lead pass to Krutov at center ice. Dumps it off on the right side. Good hip check thrown there by Marois, sliding into the corner, and Marois has been injured on the play. Just 14 or 15 seconds into this first period. Marois writhing, as you see the Soviet coach Tikhonov down beside the Quebec goal.
Well, he's in a lot of pain. It looks like it's an injury to his right leg, but here are the Soviet players coming across the line in that typical crisscross fashion, and you see him trying to throw that hip check. It got his leg caught with a Soviet player going through him, and he's in a lot of pain, and they're holding his right leg at the right knee or just below it there, as you can see on your screen, but he's in a lot of pain.
He didn't get much of the Soviet player, as you say. Their legs got tangled, and in full flight they will bring a stretcher out now. It appears to be that serious. The injury to number 22, Mario Marois of the Quebec Nordiques. So a tough break for Quebec, just seconds into this game. While they attend to him, we'll endeavor to get a progress report on how he's doing to you as soon as possible. Right now, we'll remind you, the NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
You're feeling up, and your friends are near. Friends are near. The last light. All you want in a beer. All you want in a beer. Now ain't that nice? So nice. Love that light all night. Love that light all night. Tastes light and smooth. So smooth. And goes down so nice. Goes down so nice. Get a love that light.
This NHL Soviet Series 83 is protected by copyright and played under authority of the National Hockey League and the National Hockey League Players Association. And they now just placed Marois on the stretcher and will very gingerly take him to the Quebec dressing room for further medical aid. This injury happening just 16 seconds into the game. He tried to throw a hip check, did not get all of the Soviet player, very much of him, and as a result, his leg appeared to get twisted as in full flight he fell into the far corner. Here it is, Bob.
Coming across, there are the Soviet players. They like to cross, and you see him trying to get him with his hip, and the Soviet player jumping out of the way, trying to avoid the check, just got him with the leg. Coming across, here's Marois. The Soviet player has no play on that side, and there you can see his right leg tangling with the right leg of the Soviet player and going through, and that's a tough break for the Quebec Nordiques, not just for this game, because now they only have 20 players if this is a serious injury, and it looks like it's a fairly serious injury the way they're taking them off the ice, and it'll be 22 players to 20, and in a game that's a fast-paced game, that may be a larger disadvantage than we thought. Not only that, Marois has been playing well for the Nordiques during the National Hockey League season. He's a good point man, and he's got a very good shot from that right point.
Still, obviously, very much in pain. You saw the right leg twist as it made contact with the Soviet player, and then the knee coming down very hard on the ice, the right knee. So Jean Hamel, his defense teammate, one of those assisting. Mario Marois off to the Quebec dressing room, and as we say, we'll endeavor to get information as to the extent of the injury to you just as soon as we possibly can. One more look at the contact here. He was in full flight coming after it, too.
Well, you see, Marois has no one on this side, so he's allowed to come across. There's no winger here, and he's allowed to come across and try to play the puck carrier. His defense partner was playing him head up, and we saw the collision as he went through him.
Unfortunate. So here is the resumption of play now. Just 16 seconds gone in game two. Marianov won the face-off. It was left there and picked up by Stastny, Marian Stastny, who has it back now for Normand Rochefort of Quebec. Rochefort getting it across to number 25, Blake Wesley, the ex-Hartford Whaler, kept in by Krutov. Krutov rolled down to the Quebec corner, then around on the far boards for Anton Stastny. He can't clear. And the Soviets putting some early pressure on here now. Krutov digs it in front. Rochefort right in front of Bouchard coming up with it. Now on the right side, he sends Wesley up with the Stastny's inside the line. Hunter, the center, going in behind the goal, can't come up with it. Stastny in front of the goal. Good pass out in front. No one there to take it as Krutov has it for the Soviet Union.
Krutov backhands the shot. It goes wide. Partially blocked by Bouchard. Off the boards. Back to center ice it comes. Denisov for the Soviet Union. Headed by Marian Stastny. Now by Anton, and they go back to regroup with Viktor Shalimov. Getting ahead to Sergei Shepelev. Almost gave it away in there to number 16, Michel Goulet, one of Quebec's more impressive forwards. You heard Tom say that they're an explosive team, the Quebec Nordiques. Goulet did come out in front and couldn't make the play quick. The fast-breaking Sergei Kapustin over on the right side for Shalimov. Back to Kapustin in front. He can't get the stick on it. Wilf Payma across the blue line, back to center ice for Quebec. Sergei Babanov. Lost it to Goulet. And Hamel across to Muller. Back to Hamel. Randy Muller. Hamel once again. Head to Goulet at center. For Payma off the left boards and down the Soviet corner it goes. Davidov to Kapustin. Ahead for Shepelev. 1-on-2. He'll take the shot there and let the hard drive go over top of the net. Dupont plays it ahead to center for Quebec. There's no score. 2.5 minutes into the game, but the Nordikes have lost Mario Marois with an early injury, 16 seconds in. Dupont driving it down to the Soviet zone. Soviets breaking quickly up the board. Svetlov in behind the goal, can't make his play. Tretiak gets his stick on it. The soft shot rolling wide. Vasily Pervukin. For Semenov. Semenov in the center ice area. Plays it on the right side. Krashenikov in behind the goal. He scored a goal against the Oilers before 4-3 loss on Tuesday night. This is Hunter. Being watched by Billy Letonov. Bad angle shot. Here's Wesley's shot. Right on target. Good save by Tretiak. Rebound out of front. Still loose. Back on the point. Wesley into Stastny behind the goal. Hunter leaves it there. Stastny with it. Back for Hunter. Semenov for the Soviet Union picks it up and starts out to center ice. Rolling it down beside Bouchard. Hamel. Lead pass out to Anton Stastny. Rolling down beside Tretiak. Zubkov around the board. Held in by Anton. Deflection goes wide. Out to stick of number 14, Pierre Aubrey. Both teams changing rapidly on the go here. In the first period, no score. Varnikov in at center ice by Hamel. Plays it down. Bouchard around the board towards the defense player. And the Nordiques bring it back. Paymont. Up at center ice. Aubrey. Back to Will. Paymont. He's going to force away. Paymont shoots. And Tretiak falling with a pad, making the save. The best scoring chance of the game so far. Paymont left alone on Tretiak. Davidov losing a glove on contact along the boards. They jam for it there. Picked up again by Quebec. Here comes Goulet. It's a foot race. Goulet closing in. His long shot blocked by Tretiak on the short side. So the Nordiques thinking quickly, using speed to advantage here against the Soviets. Lutkov, number 22 with it. Now Krutov. Krutov, pass behind him. Cote for the Nordiques. It is Kuche. Soviets under some pressure at this stage. About 5.5 minutes into period one. There's no score. The Nordiques forechecking well, trying to contain them in their own zone. And the Soviets a little careless in passing plays coming out of their own territory. Mark Cardiff across the Kluche. Rolls in there. The Soviet defense player picks it up, but it's not clear right away.
Now Fedosov will bring it out. Fedosov, Larionov going right in. Larionov shooting a weak shot as he's being checked from behind. Bouchard equal to it. Sliding down the ice behind the Soviet red line. No icing on the play. This is Krutov. Pass too far for him. Digs into the corner against Rochefort. Rochefort bumping Krutov in there. Wicks indicates a penalty. It'll be for Elbowing against Rovan Rochefort of the Quebec Nordicks. The first penalty of the game.
Well, there have been very few stoppages in play.
The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
Chevy's #1 and determined to keep it that way. Chevrolet, taking charge with a North American 5-passenger sedan that gives you this much room with this much mileage and does it at a new, lower manufacturer's base model price. The 5-passenger, high-technology, front-wheel drive Celebrity, the new generation sedan by Chevrolet. #1 is taking charge.
Normand Rochefort just coming right into the corner, taking the Soviet player very, very hard. There he gets his elbow up and into the boards with him on the first penalty of the hockey game. We had very few stoppages up to that point of the penalty.
Pretty fast-paced action, Tom, until that stage. But now the Soviets, with their patient power play, in effect, they were 0 for 2 with the advantage against the Oilers the other night at Edmonton. They bring it in. Back on the point for Bilyaletdinov. Over on the right face-off circle. Puck rolling from the stick of Shalimov, popped by Dan Bouchard for a face-off. As the Nordicks have killed 24 seconds of this penalty.
Well, sometimes their power play can be too patient. They like to control that puck and work it around for a very, very good shot. There you get a look at the Soviet bench. And Coach Tikhonov, I'm sure, was unhappy with them being 0 for 2 on the power play the other night, but sometimes they work it around too much. You can't work it around forever. Sometimes you've got to put the puck on the net.
Shepelev against Hunter on the draw. And they wave the Soviet player out of there and bring in number 23, Viktor Shalimov. Carmel behind his goal. Soviets with the power play on the ice. Verbuchen back on the left point. Digs it across the right side. Builds the left mouth. In behind the goal. Shepelev. For Shalimov. And clear down the ice. Hunter golfing it all the way in behind Kretschek. Look how deliberately the Soviets will form that power play, and of course the Nordicks know this and pounce on them early trying to break it up, and they win a face-off down there in the Soviet zone. Very alert play by number 19, Alain Cote. Here's Verbuchen, the Soviet defenseman. 54 international games, including tonight. 26 years old. Larionov on the faceoff. Krutov bats it down behind his own goal. Again, good forechecking by Quebec, trying to contain them in there as the Soviets break down to center ice with Fedosov carrying it. It is offside.
Well, a very good play there by Aubry. Aubry had the Soviet player going to the line, and the Soviets, of course, you know, they don't like to throw that puck in at the line. I'm sure Michel Bergeron, who you see on your picture, has told them to stand up on that line, protect the line. That's what he's telling them right now. Protect that line. Don't let him in there. And what happened is the Soviet player tried to cross the line. He was pushed offside.
49 seconds to go, and the Quebec penalty, Soviet power play that has not looked that impressive so far. Back behind their own goal again, they'll form up. Kazatranov at the Quebec blue line. Feeds himself over on the right boards. Krutov digs in behind the net for it. Now we'll chase it the other way. Against Blake Wesley. Puck is left there for Jean Hamel. Hamel fails to clear. Hit a skate. It's left in for Timonev. Timonev circling. Plays it all the way around to the far side to Kazatranov. 15 seconds to go in the penalty. Kazatranov's shot almost tipped in by Timonev. Just wide of the Quebec goal. Hunter with it. And down the ice it goes. That should effectively kill the Quebec penalty to Rochefort for elbowing. And we come out of the box now, so they're back at full strength. For the Soviets, Kosevinkov failed to make a play. Larionov had his shot blocked. The second one, Bouchard almost out of position. Back with a glove to handle that weak drive.
Well, it wasn't.
The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
11 3/4% financing on new 1982 cars. Read all about it. Participating Ford and Mercury dealers are offering 11 3/4% right now. That's a great low factory-sponsored car financing rate. Now you can get 11 3/4% on the full amount to be financed for up to 4 years. Besides the hundreds of dollars in savings, you'll get great end-of-the-year deals on new 1982 cars. 11 3/4% financing. Get a great low rate at your Ford and Mercury dealer.
Face off in the Quebec zone. No score. Quebec has skated off that penalty to Rochefort. Back at full strength now. Semenoff on the draw against Mark Tardif. Out to the pointed rolls. Still inside the zone for Smitloff. Number 15. Dumps it in front. Oh, a quick play. Just a shot wide of the goal by Semenoff. Still in there with Semenoff in possession. Trying to see Timmy now. The Nordiks get it back to center ice. Colisée passing it out of there. Wally Weir shooting it down to the Soviet corner, and a delayed call. It'll be for holding against the Soviet Union. By the way, Tom, we're told that Mario Merwa, injured in the first few seconds, has been taken to the hospital, and they suspect that he has a broken leg, but they do not know just yet. This is the NHL Soviet Series 83. It'll continue in just a moment.
You're about to witness a new creation. A whole new class of automobile, the Chrysler E-Class. Chrysler's largest front-wheel drive sedans, with elegance, luxury, with room for 5, 6, even 7. The E-Class sedan, so technologically advanced, it monitors itself to keep you secure.
All monitored systems are functioning.
So reliable, they are protected for 5 years or 80,000 kilometers. The Chrysler E-Class.
Wally Weir, who's a fan favorite here, hustles after the puck, and he's moving after it quickly, is held by the Soviet player and kicks it into the end zone, and the Soviet player is called for holding in the first power play for the Quebec Nordiques this evening.
Anatoly Semenov called for holding. Colisée. Rochefort. Back in behind the goal. Out to Colisée, a backhand drive, and a sliding save by Tretiak. Tretiak now to smother it. They'll stop the play.
Wilf Paymont was doing a very good job in front of the net there, screening off the Soviet defenders. You see Paymont holding off the defender, allowing the Nordique player to come in front of the net, trying to slide it across to Colisée. But that's what you've got to get. You've got to get some traffic in front of Tretiak and make that puck go to the net. And Wilf Paymont doing a good job holding off the defender.
Soviets are now 0 for 3, by the way, in power plays, failing to score when they have the advantage. Quebec with the first chance tonight. Stastny to Cloutier. Stastny's slot shot blocked to a maze of players. Rebounding shot high. To the line, but held in by Cloutier. Cloutier all over the ice, over to Anton Stastny in the faceoff circle, closing in, drops it in behind the goal. Pumped out in front by Goulet, and they did not connect. It is Goulet again. Stastny. Back to Cloutier. Quebec very patient here in this power play. With 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining, it will be a penalty. Here is Stastny shooting point blank with a stop made by Tretiak. So many times in the first 10 minutes by this Quebec team tonight. Quebec far more impressive, more intense pressure on the power play than the Soviets showed us earlier. Off Stastny skate into a corner. Now this is Goulet in behind. Colisée on the board. Gets it again. Pushing it back out to Stastny. Colisée beside the goal, and it's swept wide by Mark Tardif from a bad angle. Westway to Stastny, left side. Couldn't be flagged down, but number 16, Michel Goulet, and the Soviet Kazatanov shoots it to the blue line, held in by Wesley. Gets a time up again. This time succeeds in dumping it out. Colisée at center ice with it. 13 seconds to go. Give the Soviet penalty to Semenov for holding. Nordik's inside the blue line. Goulet had a mop over his stick. It's whistled down on the outside anyway. Just 6 seconds to go on the penalty.
Quebec Nordik's really had applied a lot more pressure than the Soviets on their power play. I was impressed with Colisée on the point. He handled the puck very well and slid it a couple of times to the side of the net. Normally, Colisée doesn't play on the point, but with Marois being out of there, I guess Michel Bergeron has had to juggle his power play a little bit.
Colisée was everywhere in that series, at the point, back down the boards, in around the net, as the Nordiques severely tested Tretiak on a good 2 occasions, with a third opportunity there as well. No score yet in the game. It is 8:58, the time remaining in the first period. Referee Ron Wicks gets them settled away. Ray Scapanello drops it. And Kapustin for Shalimov across to the right side. And the gate opens. The Soviets are back at full strength now. Semenov's time has been filled. Shot down the ice by the Soviets. Back to touch it, number 21, Randy Moeller, and the Soviet team is called for icing with 8:38 to play in period 1. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
Hello? Somebody out there? E.T.? Video game?
It's coming soon, only from Atari, the video game that lets your family help E.T. get home. But only if you have an Atari video game system at home.
Aubrey on the face-off against Shepelev of the Soviet Union. No score, 8:38 to play in the first period here in the Quebec Coliseum. Game 2 of the 6-game NHL Soviet Union Hockey Series of 83. Paymont dug it out. Could not make the click. Shalimov now to Kapustin, sending him away at the blue line. Drops to Davidoff. His hard shot blocked by Daniel Bouchard in goal. Davidoff gets raked on the board, skating in behind, lost his stick. And the Nordiques bring it out to the center ice area. Shepelev back for Victor Shalimov. Soviets tend to do that time and time again. That is back up to form up the play they want. Tom wants to play in 4 and 5-man units on the ice. But the Nordiques jumping the gun there, a call to the offside, shooting it in quickly at the Soviet blue line. Wilf Paymont, former Toronto Maple Leafs, Colorado Rocky, a 27-year-old right winger now with the Quebec Nordiques in his 10th NHL season.
Well, I noticed, too, that Coach Bergeron has been using, he's very strong, Wilf Paymont. He's been using him normally as a winger, but on the power play there, he was using him as center because he's very good on the face-off, and he won the draw on the power play and was able to set things up for the Nordiques.
Paymont, of course, has seen plenty of the Soviets before. Canada Cup World Championship action overseas on a couple of occasions. Now Svetlov for the Soviets. Jammed down the boards by number 29, Dave Touchette. They bump for it there. Semenov couldn't dig it out. Pass comes out to number 29, Kozhevenikov. He got a weak shot away wide. Soviets finally putting a little bit of heat on Quebec now, but the Nordiques all over them in the corner as they try to jam it for a face-off and succeed in getting one. One penalty each way, some outstanding scoring opportunities for Quebec, but they do suffer the loss of defenseman Mario Marois, who has been taken to hospital here in Quebec City with a suspected broken leg. That is not confirmed yet, but he was in a good deal of pain as they carried him away. Soviets traveling 19 hours to reach Edmonton from Moscow, and then back across the country into eastern Canada, arriving here yesterday afternoon. Have worked out a couple of times. One workout cost them Alexander Maltsev, who broke a bone in his hand and is on his way back to Moscow and missed the rest of the series. Now Stastny leaves it inside the blue line. Kuskov lost control there and almost cost him. Sportsov Out to Zlutkov. Back to Sportsov. Inside the blue line. A quick backhand shot goes wide. Nordiks have it back at the Soviet line now. 6:55 to play in the first period. It is scoreless game 2 of the series. Playing it ahead. Good contact there. Wesley and the Soviet player Timonov. Still loose inside the blue line. Number 10 going after it. Varnikov in behind the goal. Varnikov wearing Maltse's number 10, by the way. The shot from the point. That is blocked by Dan Bouchard. Hunter left it there. Soviets still in possession. Zubkov's shot is blocked. Rebound shot wide by Varnikov. Right side. That is blocked by Rochefort. Sportsov tried to pass it out, and it's knocked down by a high stick. There will be a face-off. In fact, there will be a penalty on the play as Wicks goes over to indicate a penalty to the Quebec Nordiques to Stastny. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
Money. Money in action. Working for your business non-stop. That's the promise of the Continental Commercial Banking System. An exceptional combination of cash management and financing that turns money into a hard-working, moving part of your company. To get action banking for you and your business, talk to the Continental Bank of Canada. Bankers in action.
Second penalty of the night to Normand Rochefort. This one is for slashing at 13:43. The Nordiques short-handed again. Nordiques 2 of the 3 penalties called by Ron Wicks so far in this game. Krutov on the face-off wins it. Kazatanov feeds it down the right board. In behind they go. Trying to pop it in front for a shot. Fetisov. Back to Kazatanov. Kazatanov's shot goes wide behind Larionov. Picked up by the Nordiques and rolled down the ice. Timonov against Hamel. Now Larionov got it in there against Alan Cote. Here is Fetisov. Good shot by Kazatanov and the block made by Bouchard. The rebound put for by Larionov and he's pushed off the play by Hamel. Little pushing and shoving down there for the first time tonight.
Well, we'll see if the National Hockey League rule is in effect where the point men come running off the point and into the play inside the top of the circle. We'll see where the faceoff comes, whether it comes outside or not.
And there is the capsule story on the Soviet captain, Fetisov, number 2, a veteran of 41 international games. Maltsev, of course, at 33, might have been one of his final international series, played just the 1 game, broke a bone in his hand last night at practice, and is going home.
Well, the Soviet players are arguing this point. They're not aware of the rule, but in the National Hockey League rule, to avoid those infractions around the goal mouth, if the offensive team's point men come off that point to get involved in an altercation, they come inside the top of the circle, the face-off comes outside, and they paid for it there by coming in, and now the face-off, when they've got the power play, comes outside the zone.
There was Larionov jamming away at the loose puck in front of Bouchard, and that caused Hamel to come out and push him off the play, and the point man did come in, so therefore the face-off indeed outside the Quebec Nordic blue line. With a minute 25 left in the Rochefort penalty for Quebec and 5:42 remaining in this scoreless first period.
Ron Wicks was going over to explain that to the Soviet bench.
They didn't know the timeout rule in the first game either, and they had to stop play for a couple of minutes to explain that to them. Krutov to an open wing. Race for it. Fetisov got there in time to keep it in. Down the boards goes Timonov. Right in front of shot. Bouchard had a short side block. Hangs onto it. And again, some pushing and shoving. Soviet point man coming in. May take them a while to learn that rule.
Well, here we go again. I see Ron Wicks pointing outside. Let's see if they take it outside again. Here it is. But coming right from the side of the net, Moose Dupont got caught at the edge of the circle, and the Soviet player had enough room to come right in front of the net, and Bouchard had to be sharp to keep on the short side, keep that puck out of the net.
Michel Bergeron, the Nordiques coach, he knows this rule very well, but the Soviets are still getting accustomed to it. They've had to take their second face-off opportunity outside the blue line. Larionov shot it right back in, though. More pressure on the Nordikes. Goulet. Kazatanov pins it there to Krutov. Krutov to Kazatanov, and back to Krutov it goes. Trying to roll it down in front. Still has it in the corner, however. Soviet power play, 46 seconds remaining in it. Kazatanov fakes the shot. The pass to Fedosov. His drive goes wide. Kazatanov trying to leave it in there. Hunter battling for Quebec, fell to one knee. Gathers it under him with his hand. Did not succeed in containing it. Larionov to Kazatanov. His drive to a screen is blocked and steered off to the right side. Fedosov, the defenseman, lost his stick, kicks it free. Kazatanov played it wide of the goal. Golfed hard around the boards by Blake Wesley, and finally back to center ice. 13 seconds left in the Quebec penalty. Larionov, a hard shot, a great save. Reaching out of the post was Bouchard. Down the ice it comes. 3 seconds to go in the penalty to Rochefort, and he steps on the ice. Nordikes to kill it off once again. Shepelev skated off the puck by Paymont. Paymont now feeding Aubrey. Aubrey around behind the Soviet goal with it. Sergei Kapustin got it back at the center ice. 4 minutes to play in the first period. There is no score. Kapustin, right side for Vazikov. Vazikov bumped at the blue line as the puck slides into the corner. Big, tough Will Paymont battling with Kapustin there. It is dug out in front. Over on the point. Here's the shot. Wide of the goal. It's caught in the corner. Moving in for it for the Soviet Union now is Shalimov right in front. A great throwing play. They drive it in the second time around. Kapustin got his stick on it. Bouchard going down to one side. The puck sliding across the goal crease and poked home for the first goal by Sergei Kapustin.
Well, that's too bad for Dan Bouchard, but he made an outstanding save on the first shot as it came across in front of the net. We see the Soviet player digging the puck loose. He slides it right across the goal mouth, and here's the first save, just a top save. Comes across. There's the second one. The puck's still laying there, not able to clear the rebound, the defenders for the Nordiques. Taking his time, looking around, throws it right across. Watch the save coming right across. Puck lays there. Can't move out the Soviet player in front of the net for the second try. When the goaltender makes that first stop, you can't expect him to make the second.
Another chance for the Soviets right off the faceoff. The Nordiques bring it back now with Boucher at the line to Tardif. Tardif being tied up as he goes in there, turned around towards the corner. And Boucher chasing it now against the Soviet player who failed to clear. Rochefort's shot blocked by the defenseman, Vilyaletsanov. Boucher, as it sailed past him as the Soviets bring it back to center ice. Semenov, ridden off by Rochefort. Wesley. Bumped in there by Svetlov. Left it there. Bouchard coming out to try to jam it back to his defense player. Finally, it is Tardif with it. For Rochefort. Safety on his left as they cross the blue line. Nordiques changing on the go now. Down a goal with 2:32 to play in period one. Safety jamming in the corner, and they tie it up for a face-off in there. The goal by Sergei Kapustin makes him the highest scorer actively of the Soviet national team against Canada. NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
There's a big new show in town, and it's playing right now at Québec. It's called January Jack. A whole month of fabulous January discounts with savings on every floor of every Bay store. It's a fashion clearance. It's a white sale. It's a home furnishings event. And it's playing to packed houses everywhere. So come in for the savings and all that jazz. Come on, Canada. Meet you at the Bay.
Don Chevrier and Tom Watt back with you from the Colisée in Quebec, where the Soviets lead. The Quebec Nordiques 1-0 on a goal by Kapustin late in this first period. Starikov now starts it out of his own zone. Left side for Varnikov. For Quebec, it is Hamel. Bumping into the Soviet player's sports off. The puck sliding down to the Soviet zone. Hunter in after it, can't come up with it. And the Soviet red shirts have it back at center ice once again. Right side, it is Varnikov. Varnikov across in front of the goal, in behind his player, Lukov. Now it is 2-on-1. Stastny with Hunter. Stastny closing in. Shoots. Had to go right on top. Could not make a play to Hunter. It was too late to get the pass away. Then got too close, Tom, to get a good shot away.
What a play. You won't see this in the replay, but what a play Hamel did. After Hamel got the puck up, he was able to hold the second Soviet defender. You just saw it at the edge of your picture, so the second Soviet defender couldn't come back to create the 2-on-1. He got in too deep, and Tretiak didn't have enough room to put the puck up. But just before he was able to get the puck here to go into the 2-on-1, Hamel held the other Soviet defender, ran interference for him to allow that 2-on-1 break. A great play by Hamel before Stastny got the opportunity.
Well, you think of the opportunities that Quebec has had in this first period, and they have been wasted opportunities, not unlike the Edmonton Oilers with their early chances on Tuesday night. Soviets indeed have the scoring, all of it, with a goal. 1:48 to play in period one. Pierre Aubry, number 14, takes the draw against Larionov for the Soviet zone. Paymont couldn't get a shot away as Krutov breaks quickly for the USSR. Krutov alone in there, skated off to the circle. Larionov with a quick backhand drive, scores. It's 2-0 for the Soviets. The puck was left there for the dangerous Igor Larionov.
Poor defensive play by Quebec at that point, because the first shot, we come in, we have the backhand shot. The first shot is right on, and then we see the forward for Quebec turns the other way and allows Larionov to come in with his backhand. Here's the first opportunity. We're with him. Larionov, you see three Quebec Nordiques at one side, but they turn their back on Larionov, and he's able to go in with the backhand to score the second Soviet goal.
So it is 2-0 at 18:23. The second Soviet goal. Back they come again. Krutov fakes the shot, makes the pass to Timonev. He goes right in, and Ducharme blocks that rebound. Larionov got turned around. Aubry for Quebec. Down a couple of goals now. Overskated at center ice. The Soviets flying with a 2-goal lead. Jimenez stopping the pass it across. Nobody gave it to Fetisov, and it's cleared back to center ice for Quebec by Goulet. Azatonov to Krutov. Less than 49 seconds to play in the period. Now the hard shot over top of the goal. Past Bouchard as he ducked on the play. Fetisov sees it down. Quick shot by Shalanov goes wide. Wesley ahead to Mark Tardif with Paymont. Inside the line, Tardif gets bumped off the play. Larionov is everywhere. He comes up with it. Pass ahead taken by Quebec Hamel. And on the left side to Cote. Inside the blue line, it is whistled down on the outside with just 22 seconds to play in the period. The Soviets have a 2-goal lead.
Well, what the Soviets like to do, once they get you on the run, they try to put it to you very quickly and score goals in bunches. Or right after the second Soviet goal, a great play by Krutov, moving right in and dropping the puck to Larionov, who was all in again, all by himself, and that line has been flying for the Soviets.
They left the ball after that goal for a considerable time, and indeed they almost cashed in a third time. Randy Muller back to Hamel. Get ahead now for Cloutier. Cote inside, a high drive blocked by the arm of Tretiak. Tries to feed it back in front, can't do so, and it's back to center ice. Just a second left, that will do it in period one of the second game of the Soviet NHL series, with the USSR getting goals from Kapustin at 16:30 and Larionov at 19:23. 18:23 to take a 2-0 lead over the Quebec Nordiques, who right at the outset lost one of their fine defense players, Mario Marois, with a suspected broken leg. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
And we're back at the Colisée in Quebec City, where the Soviet Union leads the Quebec Nordiques by a score of 2-0. The shots on goal in that first period, 13-8, favor the Soviet Union over the Nordiques. But I thought the Nordiques had the best scoring chances. We've got Marian Stastny with us. Marian, that was the kind of period where you had some good chances early in the period and couldn't get the goal.
Yes, but we had some luck. I mean, we didn't score.
It's kind of first of all, you had a great chance right at the end of the period. What was in your mind when you had Dale Hunter off to your left?
Yes, I wanted to show I will shoot slap shot, and I was expecting the defenseman will fall down, but he stay on his
place, and I had to go alone, and it was too late.
And it's the same old thing with Tretjak. He doesn't go for a deke too easily either. He seems to stand in there a lot.
Yeah, but this time I got problem with defense.
What about your feelings going into this game? Do you have any special feelings about it? Now you're playing in the National Hockey League and not with Czechoslovakia.
Yes, it's from my country. When we used to play against them, we got something special. It's not just in my mind or just in the mind of my friends in Czechoslovakia, but which play hockey. It's even mine in all people, all nation, Slovak or Czech nation.
Mm-hmm. Are you hearing from people at home? Do they know in Bratislava, for instance, that you're playing this game?
Yes, I'm sure all 15 million people in Czechoslovakia, they're waiting for results from this game, and we want to play our best, and I wish to come back and to win this game.
Well, it'd be good. Peter, I saw him here this morning at the practice, not playing. I imagine he's very upset that he's not able to play in the game.
Yeah, because like I still said to you, we got special feeling in our mind when we play against Soviet Union, and he wants to play, but he's not 100% okay.
Marianne, tell me about the Soviet team. Is it different? Does it look different? Does it play any differently than it did when you were playing them in the World Tournament?
No, they play all the time the same style, and they keep their style.
It's just the same patterns. They haven't shown you anything different. What are you doing to try and counteract that?
They play not just national team this style. They play in their league. All 12 or 10 teams. I don't know right now how many teams they got in their own league. But everybody is playing. Each team is playing this same style.
You yourself are really coming on, I think. It seemed to me as if it took you almost a year to get used to what was going on in the National Hockey League. Did you find that yourself, that you were having some problems getting adjusted to what's going on over here?
When I came here?
Yeah, when you came last year.
Yes, I got a lot of problems. Not just because it's another style of hockey than we used to play in Europe, but the main reason is I didn't play more than 1 year, and it stopped for me.
It's now a little different. Are you used to the travel? Certainly the different, and the number of games every week that you have to play.
Yeah, it's a tough job.
You're earning your money.
It's much tougher than in Europe.
I think that the way you're working with your brothers now, are you happy? Are you enjoying it here in Quebec City?
Yes, sure. We are happy. We enjoy it. I hope we will continue in our.
What are you going to have to do in the next period against the Soviets?
Like I said, we want to come back and we want to win the game, and it's my vision. I'll do everything for it.
Any adjustment to make in your style of play, or you just have to keep grinding and keep working on it?
Yeah, no, because I think we play very well style and very good, and we just didn't score. And the Soviets scored. They were lucky.
Get them the next period. Okay, Marianne, thank you very much. I know you want to get back into the dressing room, join your mates, and good luck in the second and third period. Marianne Stotny joining us here on the first intermission. NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
We believe when you get all the facts, no other pickup measures up. Fact. Mazda B2000 has the lowest list price of any 83 pickup.
Pick up on Mazda.
Fact. The Mazda B2200 has the lowest list price of any pickup with diesel power.
Pick up on Mazda.
Fact. AM/FM, 5-speed.
Radios and the 3-year service protection plan, all at no extra cost. Only with Mazda.
Pick up on Mazda. Mazda.
Well, Canada is not only involved in ice hockey on a professional level, but also on an amateur level. We are trying to develop a team for the 1984 Olympics in Sarajevo, Yugoslavia. It is a mammoth chore, and I took an opportunity to talk with the two coaches who will run the program.
Canada has not won an Olympic gold medal in hockey in 30 years, going back to the Winter Olympics of 1952 in Oslo, Norway. Our Olympic Association and the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to regain that Olympic pride without its success. In the 7 Olympiads since Canada's last victory, the United States has won 2 gold medals. The Soviets have won 5 times. In 1984, Canada will go with a dual coaching setup once again. Both successful college coaches again. Dave King, who coached Canada to a gold medal in the World Junior Championships in 1981, and the last 2 years to the Canadian College Hockey Final. And Jean Perron, a Sherbrooke native, whose University of Moncton Blue Devils have won the Canadian Championship in the colleges the last 2 seasons. They work in widely different parts of the country, but we're in Montreal for the International University Cup. The 2 coaches have taken on a tremendous task. King, for instance, this winter, now is part or wholly responsible for 3 hockey teams.
Biggest thing, I guess, Ron, is just being organized, being organized and keeping the 3 teams in separate binders. And it's really important that you prioritize what you've got to do. And right now, the most important thing to me is my college team and then the national junior program. We're going in December with that, and then the Olympic program is a little bit down the road. So consequently, I got to prioritize them and keep them in order. And so far, it's been pretty good.
Are we going to try to do anything differently in 1984 for the 1984 tournament?
I thought, Ron, in 1980, they did a very good job of organizing the program, and they were maybe 1 goal away from getting into the medal round. So we certainly have a tough act to follow, but we're trying to learn from that experience and do some things differently. We're trying now to do more scouting this time in Europe to find Canadian players that are presently playing in Europe that could help our program. And we've talked to a lot of the players and the coaches on the 1980 team, and we've got some suggestions on how to improve our schedule, because we feel that in 80, they had a few months with very few games, and they thought that seemed to drag out the whole process and didn't allow them to maintain the continuity in their team. So we're hoping to have a better schedule and do a better job of the scouting.
What about style of play? Are we going to do anything different in that area?
Not so much. I think that the coaches in 1980 did a very good job of preparing their team. I think that when you're dealing with a team like we're going to have that's maybe not the same skill as the opposition, you've certainly got to get players to do some things in a very consistent manner. But I think that preparation for European hockey, we've had more experiences now with so many teams in North America playing against the European teams. We've got all kinds of examples of how to prepare against them. And I think that as long as we're thorough, Ron, in those areas, we should be all right.
Jean, what about structuring a team? You've got to start now. You can't wait till next season, for instance. Have you got anything planned for this year?
Yes, we have a couple of tours at Christmas, one against the Russian team. We're going to play 4 games in the western provinces and 4 games in the eastern provinces. And one other team is going to go to Czechoslovakia for playing first division and second division teams. And play 4 games over there. So that's the first step in our selection process.
I think the biggest asset we have this year, as compared to 1980, Ron, is we have cooperation from a lot of people, a lot of levels of hockey. We have the National Hockey League Central Scouting Service helping us. We've got the Canadian colleges, American colleges, all willing to cooperate. And, of course, Major Junior Hockey, I think, has been very cooperative in many areas. And we think this year we've got things all together in that area, and that's very important.
And it comes down to the one question, really, the important question. Is it possible for a Canadian team that hasn't won a gold medal since 1952 in the Olympics to, in fact, win a gold medal in this day and age?
I think the 1980 American team, always gives us hope. They were a long-shot team that Canada seemed to dominate in the pre-tournament games. And, of course, the Americans played their best hockey for 2 weeks, and it all worked out to kind of a Cinderella story. And I think that we have to hope for something like that. And that's a motivation for us. There's no question the U.S. team in 80 did it, and we'd like to try to duplicate that.
We're winners. Dave has been winning all along. Sam Pollock is our chief, and he knows how to win in hockey. And I'm the same type. We're going to push those guys as much as we can, and we're going to work as a team. Canada is a proud country, and I'm sure with the success that they've had with the junior last year and what he's going to do this year in Russia, that's going to give more pride to the Canadians, and all those guys are going to be very motivated to prove that we can achieve that same goal with the Olympic program.
Well, the Olympic program has begun, and they're playing the Kiev team, who are 4th in the Soviet First Division. And there's the schedule. You saw in the game last night. Canada was beaten in that game, but they continue on and will be moving on to Regina, Saskatchewan tonight, and then into Yorkton, Saskatchewan on January 2nd. By the way, our junior team overseas, 7-3, favor the Soviet Union this afternoon in that series, and now Canada has lost its first game at the World Junior Hockey Championship. The NHL Soviet Series 83 continues in a moment.
About to enter a whole new world. The world of First Choice Pay TV. First-run movies, the way they were produced, with all your favorite stars. Specials, premieres, blockbusters, variety, and exclusive sports.
Enjoying the movies, boys?
First Choice, Canada's only national round-the-clock pay TV. Look out for #1. Look out for First Choice.
Our Olympic program is well underway now. Labatt, full sponsorship of the program now. They're helping out in part of a program, of course, for international hockey. We've got Lou Nanny with us, and we've seen a 2-0 Soviet lead, an interesting lead, because I thought that Quebec had an opportunity to get a 2-0 lead in their own right in the early parts of that period.
That's right. Quebec had 2 outstanding chances, one with Paymont, one with Marion Stastny. But one thing we just want to check here at the end of the period is the 2 differences in style on the power play. The Soviets have changed. And if we can run the first power play of the Soviets, you'll notice how many times now they're sitting 2 men right in front of the net to screen. They'll get the puck back to the center of the point, and he's going to take a shot. They use 2 people in deep. They never used to use this. They have another variation where the defenseman slides in and he shoots from around the dot. But the Soviets now are going more to an NHL style, and rather with 1 man screening in front, they go with 2. The Canadians, on the other hand, using the power play, or Quebec, much similar to Edmonton's and also to Minnesota's. They like to operate off the side of the corner. Usually Marion Stastny gives them 3 options. 1 he can shoot, 1 he can give it back to the point. The puck will come in right here. This is where I'm talking about. He can either do this pass to the man beside the net, which is sometimes Tardif or Cloutier, and they pass across to Paymont. He can shoot or get it back to the point. So it seems like the Canadians have opened up their power play more, all our teams, Edmonton, Quebec, Minnesota, and now the Soviets are going much more towards a trend like the NHL. That's right, and screening more.
Okay, Louis, Sergei Kapustin with a goal and Larionov with the other. It's 2-0. The Soviets are leading, and the Soviet NHL Series 83 continues in just a moment.
Sensational. Satisfying, but not filling. This is the problem. This new Mirage bar is nothing but pure milk chocolate. But it feels and tastes so different, it defies description. It's a big bite. It's bigger than... Oh, we've tried, but none of our words measure up. Maybe you can help. Try new Pure Milk Chocolate Mirage and send us your words soon. I've got it. New Mirage from Roundtree. It's so good it seems to defy description. Too good to share. Close.
When the Rossinis have something to celebrate, there's dish after dish to eat. And of course, dish after dish to wash. The Rossinis use Sunlight Liquid. Because for a sensible price, Sunlight gets brilliant results. When half measures just won't do, Sunlight's the bright choice. Lemon fresh Sunlight. A little does a lot.
Don Chevrier with Tom Watt back with you for the second period, as the story in the first period is all USSR. Kapustin and Larionov for the goals late in the period. As you saw, great scoring chances earlier by Quebec were not capitalized on. The Soviets outshot the Quebec Nordicks 14-8. The second period is underway. Wesley for Quebec. Larionov to the Soviet Union center ice area, lost to the Hunter. Hunter for Spesny, if he can get it to him, cannot. Dug back to center ice, and they whistle it down. Wick's coming in now. He's going to call, it appears, a penalty each way. Hunter of the Quebec Nordiques and Fedosov of the USSR. NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
I've got an unfair advantage over these guys. My looks? Are you kidding? I've got the Gillette Atra. They don't. It's got the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra's better than twin blade razors that don't pivot. See, they don't always stay on my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. I get a better shave. See? Close. Comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra advantage.
So who said life was fair?
Double minor penalties to Fedosov and Hunter. Teams playing 5 aside now. As in the center ice area, the Soviets break quickly with Krutov dropping it inside the blue line. Kazatanov's hard drive blocked by Bouchard. Up high into the corner. Rochefort for Westway. Ahead to Rochefort. Couldn't get all of it. Larionov with it for the Soviet Union. He was checked smartly from behind but regains possession. Vukin across to Kasatanov. Vasily for Vukin. Way over on the right side. Overskated by Krutov. Kasatanov carrying on with it. And it is knocked down finally into the Quebec corner. With a minute and 10 seconds left of the double minor penalties to Hunter and Fedosov. Soviets 2, Quebec Nordiques nothing in game 2 of this series. To Kapustin just coming out of the ice and a quick Soviet change, and Kapustin, who scored one of the 2 goals, leaves it back in his own zone now as they form up with Shalimov. For Vukin, right side. Nobody in center ice for it. Hamel for the Quebec Nordiques. His long pass intercepted. Kapustin, he's a fast-breaking forward, streaks across the blue line. Sharp angle shot, goes wide of the Quebec goal. Delayed penalty now, as indicated by Wicks, the referee. And this will take away the balance in manpower as they open the Quebec Nordiques penalty box door for Muller.
Well, you can't take penalties like that, especially being down 2-0. It was a slashing penalty as the Soviet player Kapustin breaking around him. Got caught a little flat-footed. There you see the slash just as he's going around. And then Kapustin's shot was wide of the net. But that puts you in a hole when your hockey club's already down 2 goals.
We have just been told, as we look at the Soviet bench, that Marois, who was injured 15 seconds into the game, indeed has a broken leg. The Quebec Nordique defenseman, diagnosed at hospital here in Quebec City. Soviets with the manpower advantage, only 3 Nordiques on the ice in support of Bouchard now as Shalimov has it inside the Nordiques blue line. Digs it back on the point. Left side, Babinov shot, blocked, just rolled past the goal post. Shalimov against Hamel. Hamel winning it in the corner for Piché. Piché being bodied, lost control, rolling it in front, and Hamel backhands it down the ice for the Quebec Nordiques. Bozakov for the Soviet Union for Fedosov as he and Hunter are back on the ice in their double minors. The Quebec player Muller in the penalty box, so the Soviet power play has a minute 15 left in it. Into the Quebec zone, Kapustin against Piché. Hunter with control now, and he just eases the puck down the ice. In the 3rd minute of play in the 2nd period, the Soviets still with that 2-0 lead over the Quebec Nordiques, and a minute to go on their power play. Shepelev to the Quebec blue line. Inside. Wesley stopped him momentarily. Bouchard makes the block on the long drive, and Hamel backhands it down the ice. That leg of Marois, we are told, is broken in 2 places. Krutov, right in front of the goal, hopped over Timonev's stick, still in for Fedosov. He bumps into a teammate, could not get a good shot away. And into Babinov with it now. Back to Fedosov. Babinov winding, got nothing. Here is Goulet. Skated off into the Soviet bench. Quebec changing on the go. Just 9 seconds left in the Quebec penalty. And it is Krutov at the Nordique blue line. Larionov's quick shot goes into the crowd. 2 seconds to go in the Nordique infraction.
Well, there was one of those odd man situations that the Soviets like to get you, and they moved that puck up quickly, and then with the power play opportunity, they got the 3-on-2, trying to isolate those defensemen. Here you see Rochefort, but trying to isolate, get those odd man situations, the 2-on-1s, the 3-on-2s, and of course they got that good opportunity.
Well, the Soviets got a little confused at times there. They wanted to add Cote to their lineup for a moment and keep him at the Russian bench.
Well, Babinov was trying to get off the ice.
That's right. Cote trying to get back into the play. Penalty is up now as the teams are finally back to full strength. Nordic's Hunter on the right side as Cloutier, trapped inside the line, has to wait. Now feeds Rochefort, who drives it down to the left corner of the Soviet Union. Cloutier coming up with it, dug it in front, did not complete the play as the Soviets return to center ice. Semenov inside the blue line, dropped it there, hopped over Kozhevenikov's stick back to the red line. Nordic's down 2 goals, would love to score quickly in the second period if they can to get back into it. Semenov overskates the puck and pass to a Nordique. Hunter into the hit to Cloutier. Cloutier getting some resistance now, being shut off down the left board. Metanov. It is left in the corner for Vukin trying to jam it all by himself. The Quebec player, Goulet, backed off, so Soviet defenseman had to make a play, and it's back across the blue line. Hamel could not clear it past center. Coming on with it now inside the blue line is Moeller. Left it there. Again, Nordique's changing as the play goes on. Cannot contain it there. It is shot down the ice by the Soviet Union. Moeller going back to pick it up, and icing is called against the USSR with just over 5 minutes gone here in period 2. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
If you run a small business, profits can get squeezed when inventory doesn't match up with production. What you need is a tool for modern times, the IBM personal computer. Not only can it help you plan ahead, it'll balance your books and give you more time to make dough. And the cost? That's the icing on the cake. Your own IBM personal computer. Call toll-free for a store near you.
They await the face-off in the Soviet zone. The USSR leads 2-0. On the draw, Hunter got it back to Hamel. Down into the corner for Stastny. Stastny right out in front, nobody there. Hamel covering up to keep it inside the Soviet zone. Stastny out now to Gillis. Gillis could not get a good shot away, and the Soviets break it out. Quick save by Bouchard from the stick of Schwarzkopf, still loose in there. Now Randy Moeller with it for Quebec. Or Hamel. Center ice for Stastny. Right side for Gillis. Drifting down to the left corner as they bump in there. The Soviet player goes down. Dug out by Sportsov across the left side. They hit the Quebec blue line. Drop pass in there. The shot is wide by Varnikov. Sportsov with it against 2 Nordiques. Varnikov comes up with it. Back on the point. Here's the shot by Zubkov. That's off the mark. Grasp of the Soviet player, and no further play, no penalty call.
Well, perhaps there could have been a penalty called there because the Soviet player was certainly grabbing at Moeller as he went for the puck and trying to pull him down, and they're looking at Ron Wicks trying to get a penalty power play opportunity here to help them get back in the hockey game. Here we see Moeller going into the corner trying to hold off the Soviet player. One hand on the puck, pulled down, both of them tying one another up, and in the face-off ensuing inside the Quebec zone.
Sportsov working on Moeller, but indeed no penalty call. In behind the goal is Mark Tardif. Quebec Nordiques trailing the Soviet Union by 2. He's relayed down the ice. Timanev, number 28 for the Soviets with it to Larionov. Takes it a hit to Krutov. He was skeeted off nicely by Wesley as he hit the blue line. That's what the Canadian teams like to do in the NHL, is head the Soviets off right at the blue line if they can. They've had a certain amount of success in doing that tonight. Rochefort in trouble now in his own zone. Had the puck stolen by Timonev, who could not get a shot away. Gray bringing it out, could not maintain control. Much of the play in the center ice area. Timonev leaving it there for Larionov. Larionov up on the boards. Quebec with a chance now. The play on the left side, has the pass, accepts it inside the blue line. He's alone waiting for some help and shoots it down behind the goal. Krutov in the corner against Tardif. Paymont now moves in against Larionov. The Soviets come up with it. Fetisov. Krutov couldn't handle his pass. Now Hunter for Quebec brings it back inside the Soviet zone. The three Soviet defenders quickly on the play. Dupont bumping down Fetisov. Soviets backing up more and more as the period goes on. Luce has it around on the left side. Goulet overskates it, and it is backhanded down to the center ice area for Pichette. Goulet. Dupont, he flicks it down into the corner. 8 minutes gone in period 2. All the scoring in the first period. Goals by Kapustin and Larionov. The USSR leads by 2. A chance for Quebec right here. It is kicked away out of harm's way into the corner. And back to center ice it comes for Dupont. Dupont lost it to Timonev with Krutov. Krutov closing in. Shot wide. Rebound. Picked up and cleared off to the left board. Kezatanov played it in front for Timonev. Couldn't get a shot away. Krutov backs off the contact there on the boards, but now has the puck inside. 2-on-1. In they go. Bouchard with his stick rolls it away. Quebec getting a little careless in their own zone as they stop the play. The puck hops into the crowd. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. Soviets have a face-off inside the Quebec blue line, leading 2-0. Both first period goals to the Soviets. The Pustins, his second of this series so far. This is the first time, of course, the Soviets have been ahead in this brief series. To this point, they trailed the Oilers all the way the other night. Coming back to tie them at one point, losing 4-3 finally. Puck rolling down, and they will bring it all the way back down beside Tretiak for a face-off in the Soviet zone.
Well, it's called an offside pass on Shepelev, but the Soviets a lot of the times are offside passes and get called for icings because they're trying to throw that long pass between your defensemen to get that quick break, and oftentimes it goes as an icing call.
Hamel in behind his own goal. They bring it out smartly now with Stastny, 1-on-2 at center ice, hits the blue line, digs it across. Oh, and falling was Aubry on the play with a good chance to go in on goal. Babinov for the USSR. This is Shalimov with it. He couldn't make a play. Hamel jams it ahead at center ice. Back the Soviets go to their own zone to form up again. Kapustin driving it down the right boards. Partially blocked by Bouchard. Hops free to Shepelev. Tried to feed Kapustin in front. Could not do so. Here comes Stastny with Tardif inside the line. Puck still bouncing free. Rolls in behind the goal. In front. And a shot not taken by number 18, Marion Stastny, as the puck came out too quickly for him. Right on Bouchard. Midway in the second period, midway in the second game of the series. 2-0, Soviet Union leads. We're pursuing it now to the Soviet corner. Vilyaletnov, number 14 with it. They get it ahead to Semenov, the center ice area. He's got Svetlov with it. Into the corner, dumps it right in front. Vilyaletnov shot once, second time into the crowd, over the glass, and they'll face it off. There's another. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
This is a true story about a truck tire.
Breaker, Amarillo.
The tire's so strong, nobody really knows how far it will go. Some have gone over 300,000 miles. 300,000 miles on one set of tires. Goodyear truck radios. Remember this when you buy Goodyear radios for your car. Goodyear, we want you to have the best radial tires in the world.
Anatoly Semenov for the face-off against Paul Gillis of Quebec. The USSR leading with 9:35 to go in the second period by a 2-0 score. Soviet won the draw, fed it inside the line, could not carry on from there. Back at center ice for Gillis of Quebec. Chasing it down to the corner is Cote against Villetna. Soviet defense player hands it around to the boards, finally back to center ice. Colisée for Quebec. Being watched by Svetlov. Colisée ahead for Hunter. Hunter hits the line and then is turned upside down by Villetna and a good check inside the Soviet blue line. Long lead pass was called on the offside that time. That's how quickly they break, and a lot of them are very controversial, but no doubt about that call.
Well, just before we're seeing Alain Cote, but just before the commercial break, the Soviet defenseman Billy Ledinov moving right up, and another thing that's characteristic of the Soviets is that their defensemen are not afraid to move up into the play to create those odd-man situations that we keep talking about. They're always trying to create the 3-on-2s, the 2-on-1s, and the defensemen oftentimes are the ones that move up there to create the odd-man situation.
Hunter back to Goulet. His pick shot blocked smartly by Tretiak. Hunter again with it being bumped off the play. Now for the Soviets, Varnikov starts out. Over on the right side is Schwarzkopf, puts it in the slot. Oh, and number 22 couldn't get a shot away. Lukov. This is Goulet for the Quebec Nordikes inside the Soviet line. Made a bad pass to Hunter, couldn't get it to him. Schwarzkopf against Hamel. Swings it in behind, then lost his footing as he bumped off the puck. Goulet dropped it too far back. Nordikes a little over-anxious inside the Soviet blue line as they pressed for their first goal. They trailed 2-0. Varnikov, he got turned around. Randy Muller with it. Long lead pass to Goulet, and it hops off his stick into a corner. Quebec's good opportunities, fewer and far between here now. Rochefort has one. Tried to see Tardif, couldn't get any wood on it. Held in for Piché. Boucher skated off the puck. It goes to number 3, Vladimir Zubkov. Zubkov having difficulty clearing. While he does pop it ahead to center ice to Varnikov. And Varnikov relays it down the ice. Backboard goes Rochefort. And icing is called against the Soviet Union with 7 minutes and 27 seconds left in the period. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
What does a man of adventure do between adventures?
I play Exidy's Venture, the video cartridge that plays just like the arcade game.
It sharpens my reflexes. Armed only with an arrow, you hunt for treasure, gold, diamonds, and it's not easy because you have to get past deadly monsters, goblins, snakes, and dragons. Play Venture on your ColecoVision, Atari VCS, or Intellivision video game system.
I hate dragons.
And that is the story so far. The Soviets on top by a pair. They got theirs in the first period. Kapustin and Larionov scoring late. And Quebec has not replied so far, but has an opportunity here. The pass to Tardif. He gets tied up by Larionov. Not get his stick on the ice. Timonev overskates it, falling to the Soviets. Then got belted on the play by Anton Stastny, who's lost his helmet. Getting forward on the boards, getting it out in front, and they cannot contain it. Back come the Soviets. Timonev. Rochefort trying to skate him off, falls in doing so. Piché gets it back down the ice inside the Soviet line. Here's a break, closing in. A shot. Rolling puck. Oh, and it was just hit. He's about to go over the goal line by Krutov, number 9. Another marvelous scoring chance denied by the alertness of Krutov after it appeared that Tretiak had been beaten.
Well, Marian Stastny made an excellent play in waiting for that high lob pass so that he could be onside. You see him cutting in, trying to go to his forehand. The puck almost gets over Tretiak. The defenseman coming back saves the goal by putting it under his pads. Again, Stastny moving in, going to his forehand, coming across his Tretiak, high in the air, almost rolling over the line, back into his pads.
So the Nick of Time award won there by Vladimir Krutov, who batted that puck just as it approached the goal line. Still 2-0 for the Soviet Union. Pierre Aubrey on the draw against Shepelev. Shepelev is waved out in favor of Victor Chalamov. Aubrey got it. Up the long. Here comes Shepelev with Kapustin on his left. Back to Shepelev. Tried to feed Kapustin the second time. Chalamov carries on. Shooting. Blocked by the defenseman. Number 25, Blake Wesley. But not clearing. Good hip check for the Soviet player Shepelev who went down there as Quebec brings it inside the line. Paymont pursuing it in behind Tretiak, runs into a Soviet defender, but smartly the USSR brings it out. Kapustin with Shepelev, 2-on-2. Kapustin shooting, blocked by his own player, cruising in on goal. Now for Quebec, it is Paymont. Will Paymont inside the Soviet line, runs headlong into Babinov. Carrying on is Wesley around into the corner, and back to center ice again. 6 minutes to play in the second period. And a penalty call for elbowing coming up. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
Let's face it, today's the day for 1983 Buick Skyhawk.
Now's the time, and tomorrow looking fine.
All the elegance you'd expect from a Buick in a smaller front-wheel drive package. Sportiness that just has to be experienced. Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick Skyhawk?
I've got this feeling that today's the day. I've got this feeling it's a Buick day.
Another one of those unnecessary penalties you talked about, Tom Watt. It's elbowing the DuPont of Quebec.
There's the elbow coming across, and of course, when you're 160 feet away or 170 feet away from your own net, you take an elbowing penalty, and you're down 2-0. That's put your hockey club in a little bit of a hole.
It certainly does not help the cause. Soviets in front 2-0, 5:50 to play in the second period. And a power play on the ice right now. Larionov for the Soviet Union circling to Timonev. He could not control the pass. It is Goulet with it for the Nordikс. Hamel golfing it down the ice behind Tretiak, who smartly gets around and blocks it. Soviets break quickly with the defenseman rushing. Fedosov's shot. That is blocked. Still loose in there. Pichet for the Nordiks with it. Tries to dig it ahead. Lost control of the Soviet Union. Still bouncing around beside the Nordik's goal. Krutov, who saved the Quebec goal a moment ago, gets it around to the left boards. Fedosov. Kazatanov, quick shot was saved by Bouchard. Rebound, the backhand drive, just deflected wide. Krutov still hustling in that Quebec corner. Fedosov from the point. Winding, fakes the shot, feeds Timonev, blocked by Hamel. This is Krutov to Timonev. Back to Krutov, Timonev, Krutov, shot wide. Soviets with the power play, taking lots of time to organize it. 40 seconds to go in the shorthanded situation for Quebec. Ariana closing in to Krutov. That was blocked by Hamel. The Nordik's can't get it out of there. Fedosov rolls it down by the goal. Deflected off to the corner for Krutov. A Soviet red shirt pouncing on the puck at every opportunity, keeping it inside the line. Kazatanov, Fedosov, he shot wide. Larionov. Kazatanov, Larionov again. Setting, shooting, blocked by Hamel. He was hurt on that one. Hamel felt the force of that shot and is still down on the ice. They whistle it down. 3 seconds to go on the penalty.
Well, Hamel down on the ice showed a lot of courage in getting in front of that shot and blocking it. The Soviets had been controlling the puck on the power play, working it around, trying to get the good shot. Finally, with only 3 seconds remaining in the power play, they were shooting the puck, trying to get it to the net. Hamel went down to block it, and if he's out for any length of time with losing Marois, they're going to get short on defenseman. Here we see Soviet player Larionov moving off the side, going down. Hamel just takes it off the top of his shin pad, probably hit him just between the shin pad and the pant, and he goes down heavily. But there he is going down to block the shot. Larionov coming from the side, trying to get it away.
Well, he is on his feet now and making his way over to the Quebec bench. Indeed, with Mario Marois suffering a broken leg in 2 places. And Nordiks cannot afford to lose any more defensemen, certainly not of the caliber of Jean Hamel, the way he has played for them tonight. 4 minutes and 2 seconds remain in the period, and just 3 seconds in the penalty to DuPont for elbowing. The Russians buzzing all over that Quebec zone, but not coming up with a goal in the power play as DuPont brings them back to full strength. Rochefort against Timenev, and that is whistled down in behind. Puck's it all the way from the Soviet half of center. They'll bring it back for an icing call to the left of Tretiak. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
When you're feeling up and your friends are near, the last light, all you want in a beer, now ain't that night, so nice, love that light all night, taste light and smooth, and go down so nice, let's get a love that light.
Don Chevrier with Tom Watt, Ron Rouge, Lou Nanny with you. Game 2 of the NHL Soviet Series. Quebec held scoreless by Tretiak and the Soviets so far tonight, trailing 2-0. Puck does not drop fairly. They will do it again. Hunter on the face-off for Quebec. Shepelev for the Soviet Union. Stastny couldn't get his stick on it, but Hunter has a chance now. Rochefort cruising in front. Hunter tried to backhand the pass. Still has a chance, but shoots high and wide. Gloved by Tretiak.
Tretiak had to make one of his infrequent saves in this period. We see Coach Tikhonov, and his team is controlling the puck very, very well. It's only the third shot on goal for the Quebec team in this period. And the Soviets, although they've had the better scoring opportunities, seem to be controlling the puck, but not really driving to the net the way they could, although they've had the puck the majority of the time.
Here's Hunter now pushing the Soviet player, Semenov. On the face-off exchange, they wave Semenov off and replace him to drop the puck. 3:36 to play in the second period. Again, smartly and quickly, the Soviets break it out of there. They have their skating legs tonight. No question about that. Wesley to Rochefort. Feeding it ahead the left side for Hunter. Stastny in the center ice area to Paymont. Paymont could not connect. Gets it again. Feeding Hunter, a loose stick on the ice getting in the way, and the Soviets have it at center. They come in 3-on-2. Rosevenikov cannot get a shot away. Marian Stastny over to Hunter. Hunter, rink wide for Paymont. Paymont had it hit him, couldn't get a shot off. Shot back to center ice, 2:49 to play in the period, 2-0 for the Soviets. Bukin left it there, golfed by Cloutier wide. Hunter has it. Hunter, right in front. Here's the chance for Bukin, close that off from Cloutier. Down the ice it goes. Soviets under some pressure now, relieving it by icing the puck. DuPont touching it. Face-off coming in the Soviet zone. 2:27 to play in the period.
Well, another little difference from the Soviet team is under pressure. They don't feel that there's any problem about just icing the puck. We get a look at the Quebec bench. The fans, obviously, that's something that doesn't happen in North America, but to relieve pressure, they just take it and shoot it down the ice. But North American fans don't like that tactic.
There is Kozevenikov, scored a goal in the opener the other night. That shot deflected to the side of the goalie, Tretiak. Sportsov with it now to the center ice area for the Soviets, being checked by Tardif. Carries on. The pass is Lutkov inside the line. Over in the corner. Sportsov. He's taken down by DuPont in behind. Nordiks under pressure of their own now from the Soviets. It comes ahead for Stastny. Anton Stastny at center ice. Gets the Soviet blue line, lost it there to Zubkov. Backhanded ahead. It'll come all the way down beside Bouchard. Once again, they'll call the Soviets for icing with 1:42 to play.
Well, there we see Real Cloutier, and he's a very explosive scorer, and He's one of the players that the Quebec Nordiques are hoping to keep him out here late in the period, try to get back in the game. After all, they're only 2 shots away, even though the Soviets have controlled the puck. But I think really the Nordiques are missing someone like Peter Stastny tonight, because if the 3 Stastnys were playing together, I think that would give them a little more on the attack than they've had in these first 2 periods.
Well, they certainly had their chances, Tom Watt, early on. Also in this period, have not capitalized. Tretiak awfully sharp. Got some help from Krutov when the puck was rolling right at the goal line. Soviets with Shepelev now inside the Quebec blue line with a minute and a half to play in the period. Kapustin all by himself in the corner. Makes his play beside the net for Shepelev. Puck rolled off his stick. Hunter against Kapustin in behind. Dale Hunter left it there for Babinov, the Soviet defenseman. He's going to rush up and become forwards inside that blue line. And it is Shepelev back inside his own zone now with a minute and 5 seconds to play in period 2. Coche feeding Hunter on the right side. Dale Hunter turning for Babinov, got taken down to the Soviet defenseman, and they'll call him for tripping the Quebec center right there on the right board.
Well, that's what Hunter does very, very well. You know, Hunter really took Babinov in heavily and gave him a little bit of a stick in the fire end, and Babinov was a little incensed here. You see Babinov put the wood on him to begin with, and then he gets his leg and stick around him and pulls him down. But Hunter is an agitator, and he really got after Babinov in the fire end, and Babinov comes back and takes the penalty.
And Coach Tikhonov knows how expensive a penalty can be this late in the period. For the goal that Mark Johnson scored for the United States in Lake Placid against the Soviets late in the second period. What a difference it made to that game, with the Americans holding on to win it in the third period, and Johnson's goal turned it around. Quebec would like to do the same right here if they can on the power play now. And they see Stastny streaking in. He shoots at a great save by Tretiak. Rebound is batted wide by Will Paymont, hitting it with a high stick and without a cannon anyway. But early in the power play, just 12 seconds in, they test Tretiak.
Anton Stastny talking to himself a little bit. Nice pass, nice headman pass just between the 2 Soviet sticks. Goes in, lets the shot go. It's right on Tretiak for the save, and it goes up in the air, and there was Paymont, high stick, and the faceoff comes back outside the zone, trying to tip it by Tretiak.
1:48 on the penalty to Babinov, and 41 seconds of playing time remaining in the second period. Soviets hard pressed at times to maintain this 2-0 shutout. Remember, Tretiak has never shut out a Team Canada or NHL opponent in all his games internationally against the players of North America. His teammate Lushkin has shut them out twice. Rochefort drifting it in now around the boards for Paymont. Fetisov takes over for the Soviets. Batted down by Rochefort and held in momentarily, but back it goes to center for Anton Stastny. Over to Marion. Right side breaking in. Cut off by Fetisov. Just 8 seconds to go in the period now. It's held in by Cloutier. Too far for Paymont. Paymont cruising in front. Can't get the pass out to him. And it sails down the ice to end the second period with the Soviets in possession of the lead they had at the end of 20 minutes. 2-0. The goals by Kapustin and Larionov. A scoreless second period here at the Coliseum in Quebec City. We've got some features coming up for you, some people to talk with between periods here in Quebec. So stay with us. We'll remind you, the NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
There you see it after 2 periods, still 2-0. The 2 goals scored in the final 3.5 minutes of the first period.
Well, finally the Soviets got a good chance. You know they like to use a trailer in the play, and one time 2 forwards coming down. Quebec uses 3 men to check him. You'll see the Quebec centerman coming in a little too deep. When you've got 2 players like you have the Soviets here in a bad angle, you shouldn't have 3 guys cutting them off. This leaves the center slot open. Soviet trailing on a play and getting a fine chance. You've got to look around. You've got to make sure you're taking that late man. That time Quebec didn't, and they almost paid for it.
We've seen a 23-11 shots on goal advantage favor the Soviets, which is a little different. We're used to seeing it the other way around, although the Soviets often win those games. What's going on out there? It doesn't seem to be a 23-11 margin. It's one of those deceptive statistics.
Well, the Soviets do shoot more than they used to, and they're really checking quite well, although we're going to see a shot right now. Here comes Marian Stastny, and he's being angled off by the defenseman. He really should take a good shot here. He tries to cut in front. Tretiak, such a big man, is there to make the save, and Krutov comes back to knock it out of the net. But they're keeping Quebec on the angles. They're not giving them any area around the net. They block the front of the net extremely well. But even the Russians make a mistake, and we're going to see a little surprise right here, Ron, because, you know, you think that they're somewhat invincible, but right here they collide, and you remember at the blue line, even though this fellow right here is going to get a shot, it looks like a little bit of a misplay in the Russians' part, and it surprised both defensemen.
Well, the Stastny brothers have to be talking to themselves. I know that they're really up for the game, and I guess the last three really good chances that the Nordic have had have all been the Stastny brothers. It's, what do you expect in the third period?
Well, I think Quebec's got to start shooting the puck more, and they got to keep their elbows down. They're taking foolish penalties. They should have taken a cue from Edmonton the other night, and they got a little out of hand, but they're going to get some more chances this period.
All right, Louis. So, after two periods then, it's still 2-0. The Soviets are leading. The Soviets NHL Series 83 continues in a moment.
Take a good look at this view of the new Oldsmobile Forenza S. You're going to follow a lot of them next year. That's because of what the new Oldsmobile Forenza has up front. Front-wheel drive and a 4-speed manual, plus an available 5-speed transmission. New Oldsmobile Forenza S. You can actually see one standing still at your Oldsmobile dealers. Oldsmobile! Have one built for you.
Budweiser salutes all the people who help us go in the snow.
I'm best for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. For all you do, I'm best for you.
Yeah, this Bud's for you if you like your beer with that distinctively clean, crisp, Beechwood-aged taste and smoothness that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Period is just underway here at the Coliseum in Quebec. Spasky brings it out for the Quebec Nordiques, trailing by a score of 2-0. Shot down to the Quebec corner. Colisée coming up with it. Still a Quebec power play, but not a very effective looking one now. Davidoff still has 10 seconds to serve in the penalty box for his penalty late in the second period. Nordik's not threatening whatsoever here with the man advantage. Larionov brings it in. Soviets back at full strength now as Quebec finally bring it out of there. On the left side, Anton Stastny right in front of the goal on a glorious chance. Turned away by Tretiak off Hunter. Held in by Wesley. Then Hunter over to Rochefort. Rochefort to the side of the goal. Bounces around in behind. On the stick of Krutov now for the Soviets. Back to center ice. Gulps a long shot. Bouchard gloves easily. I'd like to remind you of the best player of the game for each team. We'll go to the outstanding players following the telecast as selected by our broadcast team. They will each receive a Panasonic Wave Mini Stereo cassette player. Keeping it in, shot on Bouchard, good pad save from the stick of number 18, Vozakov. Dale Hunter to Wesley. Time and time again, the Nordiques being pinned in their own zone by the Soviets, but it's finally cleared back to the Soviet zone. A little over 2 minutes gone here in period 3. The USSR on top by a score of 2-0. Both goals coming late in the first period. Shot down the ice by the Soviets. Hamel will collect it there, and icing's called against the USSR. The UCLA Bruins will take on the Michigan Wolverines in the all-time classic bowl game, the Rose Bowl, New Year's Day, beginning at 4:30 Eastern Time. And then right after, more exciting college football with the Orange Bowl. It's all here on CTV, New Year's Day. That's the scoring so far. Kapustin and Larionov for the Soviet Union. 23-11, the shots on goal advantage overall for the Soviets so far. Wilf Paymont on the draw, jams it in front. Cote couldn't get a shot. Zubkov. Working it out now for the Soviet Union to center ice. The long shot by Starikov goes wide. Back to Zubkov. Tries to get it ahead at center ice for Varnikov. Broken up by Paymont with Cloutier. Paymont fading off onto the boards, jamming it across, but cannot succeed in that. The Soviets coming down now. Wide 2-on-2 attack. Varnikov inside the line lets a shot lazily drift up among the spectators for a face-off with just over 3 minutes gone. And the NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
Whew, we'll be up all night doing your homework.
Don't worry, Dad. I just put Energizers in the calculator.
Of all leading battery brands, nothing outlasts the Energizer from Eveready. Nothing outsnaps it. Nothing outadds, outwalks, outplays, outtapes, outshines, outlasts it. Nothing.
The Energizer even outlasted Dad.
Energizers, energize for life.
Long life.
Energize me.
Don Chevrier with Tom Watt, the coach of the Winnipeg Jets, who flew all night to get here for this one tonight, Game 2 of this series. All Soviets so far, but great scoring chances missed earlier by the Quebec Nordikes. Out at center ice, Samanov fights off a check and gets it for the Soviet Union as they circle back in their own zone with Svetlov in control. Now ahead for Sergei Kapustin. Smartly gets around Tardif, hits the Quebec line, still has it, goes inside, dumps it off, relay in front, intercepted by the Nordikes by Cloutier, and shot back to the blue line. Tardif in behind. He'll try the left side. Mark Tardif, the veteran, at center, into the Soviet zone. Pervukin with it there. Quebec keeping it in. Blocking with Vilyaletdinov. That shot from the side. Tardif in behind, rolls it in front. Nasty couldn't capitalize the chance. Samanov jamming it at the blue line. The Nordiques succeeded keeping it in momentarily, but now Pervukin sends Svetlov away at the Quebec blue line. Svetlov's shot drifts wide. Anton Stastny. He and his brother Marion meeting the Soviets for the first time since the Olympic Games at Lake Placid. Peter, the third brother, unable to play because of injury. Play is whistled down for a face-off in the Quebec zone with now 4 minutes and 26 seconds gone in the final period, Tom.
Vilyaletdinov, they're blocking the pass out when it was a 2-on-1 in front of the net. Stastny trying to slip the puck to Tardif, who was home free at the edge of the net, and the Soviet defenseman sliding across, blocking the pass out, prevented a good scoring opportunity for the Quebec Nordiques.
Hamel, the most effective Quebec defenseman, got it to the line. Larionov brought it back in. The Soviets quickly called for offside. Remember, Game 3 coming up in the Montreal Forum against the Montreal Canadiens tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Eastern Time, that traditional New Year's Eve rivalry between the Canadiens and the Soviet Union. We'll have it for you right here. Michel Goulet for Quebec ahead to Dale Hunter. Hunter's pass taken away by Larionov. Now the Soviet captain, Vyacheslav Fetisov with it, falling on the play. And a penalty is going to be called to the Quebec Nordiques. A penalty they can ill afford at this stage of the game, down 2-0. Go to Michel Goulet, and the NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
Was Gillette Foamy thick and rich enough to restrain a rushing roller coaster? No. So we improved Foamy. We made it even thicker and richer. So now is new improved Foamy thick enough and rich enough?
No. But if you thought your Foamy gave you clean, close shaves, just wait till you see how much thicker and richer new improved Foamy is.
New improved Foamy. We made it even thicker and richer.
Michel Goulet draws the minor penalty for Quebec. Just shy of the 5-minute mark of this third period. The Soviets on top 2-0 have the power play in effect right now. Kutov. Kazatanov. Timonev on the right side works it inside the blue line. Stopping in the corner, back to Kazatanov. Relay to Fetisov. Fetisov takes the shot, makes the pass. Bouchard just got a piece of it. Krutov against Pichet. Fetisov trying to hold it in. It is held by Kazatanov. Arena. Right face-off circle makes the play. Krutov got tied up by Pichet, goes down in behind the net. Pichet on top of him. Soviet player losing his helmet and his stick, getting up very, very slowly on the play. Golfed around behind the goal by Pichet, who now has lost his stick. Hamel fails to relay it out of there. Glove by the Soviet player Fetisov in behind. They whistle it down on the pass set ahead with the glove of Fetisov.
Well, we see Krutov, who went down very heavily. It looks to be cut a little bit on the side of the face, and Pichet, who took him into the boards, went right over top him. I don't know whether his skate came across. There we see Pichet taking him hard. Now he comes across. Looks like the stick perhaps came across his head. Goes down on top of him, comes across him, and Krutov, looks like Coach Tikhonov is a little upset here when Krutov comes off with, seems like a cut there we see at the side of his face.
Tikhonov, the Soviet coach, not smiling there. He was smiling yesterday when the pilot on the Air Canada flight from Edmonton invited him up to the cockpit to have a look. He's beaming like a little kid with the opportunity. Well, his Soviets have been trying tonight with a 2-0 lead over the Quebec Nordikes. 6 minutes now into this third and final period. Sergei Shepelev with it for the Soviet Union. Pervukin, the defenseman, takes it inside the Quebec line, and quickly it is brought out again. Hunter one-on-one at center ice. Hunter, long shot, kicked away by Tretiak. Paymont missed on a breakaway earlier in this game, one of two glorious scoring chances early on for the Quebec Nordiques, who simply have not capitalized on what's been given them. Got Pustin on the left boards, got Pervukin back at the point. He'll feed him with it. Yekhanov on the right side makes the play back to Pervukin, had a chance, but it hopped over his stick. Delayed penalty being called here. Ron Wicks with his arm up, the booming shot blocked by Bouchard. The rebound still loose, picked up by Quebec, and now another Quebec Nordique penalty is called. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
Second by second, hour by hour, day by day, when you save at the Continental Bank, time is on your side. Because whatever type of savings account you choose, you'll earn interest on all your money every day. And no other bank can say that. Continental Bank of Canada. Bankers in action.
Andre Dupont right in front of the net. You see him just jab at Shepelev in front of the goal there. Taking the penalty as the puck comes back to the point. But the Soviets trying to get someone to screen in front. Andre Dupont jabbing at him from behind in front of the net.
The Soviets with a chance. Larionov inside the line, relaying it, and they score the third goal. A pretty three-way passing play for the Soviet Union.
Actually, it occurs when it's a 5-on-3 situation. The first man just gets out of the box, but not allowed to get in the play. It's a 5-on-3, and the 3-on-2 right in front of the net. There's one pass to the side. The defender has to go. Just a gimme, a layup shot right there off the edge of the net. And the goaltender, of course, has no chance on a play like that where it's 3-on-2 right in front of the net.
Top over to Victor Timonev, who rattles it in to give the Soviet Union their third goal.
But Dupont is out of the box now. The teams are even sides because the goal did occur after the first player had come out of the box.
So the Soviets on top 3-0 over the Quebec Nordiques. They've had some costly penalties. A quick shot. Bouchard blocks that rebound in front. Tardif has it in behind his own goal. Now he'll try to work the right side unsuccessfully. Bumping in there is number 26, Sportsov. Left it for Varnikov. Varnikov right out in front again. The Nordiques appear to be falling apart here in this third period. Another penalty is called. And the penalties, so costly to Quebec in the second and third periods. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
There are noises. There are sounds. And there is Hitachi Quality Hi-Fi, powerful amplifiers and tuners, superb tape decks by Hitachi. There are linear tracking turntables. There are state-of-the-art speakers by Hitachi. All Hitachi Hi-Fi products are advanced engineered to give you outstanding quality high fidelity. Audition them at your Hitachi dealer. The Hitachi Touch in Hi-Fi. Some people have it, some people don't.
Well, Quebec getting themselves in all kinds of problems here with their third successive penalty, a high sticking call to Blake Wesley. And when you're down 3-0 and you take those high sticking penalties and elbowing penalties, it's very difficult to get back in the game against a team as good as the Soviet selects.
Well, over the years, Canadian teams have suffered because of costly penalties. That lesson has been learned by many, but not completely by the Quebec Nordiques tonight. The Hunter forcing a break there. Digs it out in front for Goulet. Couldn't get the pass to him, and Sergei Kapustin returns for the Soviets to the Quebec blue line. Drops the pass there. Babinov off the boards with it. Jams it down to the corner for Kapustin. Rolls it around in front for Shepelev. Soviets still have possession in there of yet another USSR power play. Shepelev. Rozakov, he shot wide. The rebound is for Alain Hamel. Jean Hamel, and Jean fires it down the ice. As we approach the 9-minute mark of this third and final period, the Soviets leading 3-0. 2 first-period goals, 1 here in the third. Kapustin, who has a goal in each game so far for the Soviets, shooting it back to his own zone. Babinov with it. He'll return it for Krutov as they backpedal to kill time, then form the play, and they send Larionov to center ice. His weak pass did not arrive, and Aubry shoots it down the ice for Quebec. But the Nordiques not effective in an offensive sense at all in this third period, when they trail now by 3 goals. To the side of Tretiak, who had to react quickly and pounce on it to stop the play.
Well, Tretiak had to be very sharp there to pounce on the loose puck. It looks like the Soviets are going into their freeze almost. They've got the man advantage. They're up 3-0. They really didn't try to attack the blue line, and Tretiak was forced to make a stop inside his own zone, and the Soviets just seemed content to control the puck without mounting much of an attack, being ahead 3-0 with 11 minutes to go in the hockey game.
Blake Wesley in the penalty box for high sticking still has 29 seconds to serve. Reminder again, game 3 tomorrow night, Montreal Forum, New Year's Eve. The Canadians against the Soviet Union at 7 Eastern Time. Ilya Leptinov in behind his goal for the USSR. For Kapustin on the boards, taken away by Goulet momentarily. Semenov then gets control, back to Verbuchen. Soviets, as Tom said, happy to circle in their own zone and take all the time they want, leading by 3, 10:44 to play in the game. Goulet just shoots it down the ice. 5 seconds to go in Wesley's penalty. And the Nordiques, with so many penalties in this final period, unable to mount a serious attack against the Soviet Union. Semenov trying to feed Svetlov, missed him. Svetlov gets tied up in the corner. Wesley is back on the ice now. Nordiques at full strength, but in front here's Kapustin being jammed. Couldn't get the shot away against Stastny. Wilf Paymon backhands it across the center ice. Here's a chance for Hunter. Closing in, the drive goes wide. Rolls all the way back to Stastny at center. Shoddy and trapping Hunter offside. A delayed offside in effect now, but it is brought out by Varnikov of the Soviets. Hunter again returning to the Soviet zone. Down the boards, Varnikov, as Hunter is written off, takes charge. Left it there. Quebec now with a chance. Working it in front, jamming it. Rolled in behind the goal. Past Tretiak, who blocked that post very, very well. Unlike Bushkin the other night, as Messier drove a shot with about the room of one puck to get through and made it for an Edmonton goal. They whistle it down now on a pass from inside the Quebec zone, and the NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
Cutting out for some good times. Really glad I'm here. Me and the boys and our 50.
Smooth, easy drinking 50. What a beer to share.
Me and the boys and our beer.
you see a discouraged Michel Bergeron, and after taking him, holding his head, he's smiling, but I'm not so sure it's a happy smile. They're caught with too many men on the ice, and of course, there's always some wag behind you yelling at you that can't you count Bergeron or something, but in the change, Quebec got caught with too many men on the ice, and they're taking their fourth penalty in a row. Here we have the player just jumping over the boards, head manning the puck outside of the Quebec zone. The other man has not gone in the open gate.
Paul Gillis, number 33, will serve yet another penalty for the Quebec Nordiques, this time for having too many men on the ice. Vladimir Zubkov in his own zone, feeds it right across the net. No regard for any Nordique in the area. Number 19, Alain Cote, is circling in there. Gets a piece of Varlikov, takes him down as they cross the blue line. Play carries on, and it comes back to the center ice area for Pierre Aubray and relayed down to the Soviet zone. And it's pretty hard to play catch-up here when you're a man short time and time again, as the Nordiques have been here in this third period. 4 minor penalties assessed against them. Turned around is Lutkov as he hit the Quebec blue line. Swartzov carrying on, brings it in, getting past Andre Dupont, relays it in front for Varnikov, just missed him. Relay on the boards with Hamel, and Hamel digs it out. Hamel, I think the strongest defense player, certainly for Quebec, one of the outstanding players on the ice for them, along with Spasny and Kluche in this game, but they did not capitalize early, and it's costing them now. Bedazov knocked off balance, rolls it down to Bouchard. We have just 8 minutes and 15 seconds remaining, and the Nordiques have 3 goals to make up here, and they've got to do it in a hurry against the Soviet team that looks stronger and stronger as it goes along. Larionov making the play at the Quebec blue line. Dropped in there for Larionov. Back to Kazatanov. He's shot off the skate. Good save by Daniel Bouchard. Bedasov, however, keeps it in play for the Soviets in the Quebec zone. Timonev on the boards gets it down to Krutov. Krutov working with it. Leaves it there for Kazatanov. Fired it across the left side to Larionov. He was bumped off by Rochefort. And finally, Quebec coming up with it with Pierre Aubray. Penalty to Gillis for too many men on the ice has expired. 7 minutes and 25 seconds left now for Fedosov, coming in with a backhand shot, blocked smartly at the last moment by Norman Rochefort. But it's all Soviet Union now as they coast along here, looking to add to their 3-0 lead, outplaying the Nordiques ever since the midway point of the first period. Cruising in is Krutov, his soft rolling shot blocked by Bouchard. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
I'm late. I'm late.
Late for what?
I'm late for Sears' Wonderful White Sale.
Wait a minute.
There's a whopping 50% off for kale sheets, and muslin sheet sets are only $14.99. Buy one pillow and get its twin for $1.
But what about towels?
Towels, 4 styles, and they're 30 to 50% off at Sears' Wonderful White Sale.
What a wonderful way to make ends meet.
At Sears, you get your money's worth.
And more.
3-0 for the Soviets. Shepelev on the face-off against Mark Tardif. Hamel in the Quebec corner. For Randy Mahler. He has difficulty up the boards, and it is whistled down as Hamel goes down, face down, and he is in pain.
Well, Hamel's had a rough night. He took a puck earlier before blocking the shot, and now he seems to have caught the high stick of the puck and the trainer out there, but Jean Hamel has had a tough time tonight.
Hamel certainly the most effective defenseman for Quebec in this game. As you say, blocked a shot, got injured earlier, and now in obvious pain, face down. Who happened to join us late, Mario Marois, the Nordiques defenseman, left the game on a stretcher with a broken leg in 2 places, 16 seconds into the action tonight, when he missed a check sailing across the ice after a Soviet player. And Hamel certainly a contender for the Labatt's player of the game for the Quebec Nordiques in this one tonight. We may be able to see what happened to him as the training staff continues to work on him, Tom.
Well, he comes back in deep looking for it, and you can see the puck seemed to come up and hit him because he goes down. The puck came up very, very high, and there he starts going to the ice, and the trainers there, he must be bleeding because they've torn off some adhesive there, and they're trying to attend to him now as he comes from the ice. Looks like he got it in the mouth.
It is near the mouth, it would appear, from where we saw a glimpse of a bandage, which, if it has to be anywhere, I guess is good news, as long as you keep it away from those eyes. So this partisan Quebec crowd tonight has not had a great deal to cheer about. In fact, a lot to be concerned with Marois breaking his leg in 2 places, and now the fine defense player Jean Hamel likely through for the rest of the action, which is 6 minutes and 57 seconds remaining. So he'll be out to the Quebec dressing room. We'll get a report for you. NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
For years, I was practically chained to a desk until my doctor ordered me to relax once in a while. Get away. Today, I'm a different man. I've even changed my eating habits. Now I eat sensibly. And I've started using Fleischmann's margarine. My favorite's made with 100% pure corn oil. That's important to me. Because I'm enjoying this life and all the good things that go with it. And that includes Fleischmann's.
Fleischmann's. And for sodium-reduced diets, there's Fleischmann's Unsalted.
Well, not too many smiles here in the Coliseum in Quebec tonight, because the Nordikes, after a promising start, have fallen behind, as you see, 3-0 with 6:57 remaining.
Well, I've been amazed. I think the secret in the game, the Nordikes holding a team like the Nordikes to 14 shots on goal. It's like sometimes the Soviets have their own puck, especially when they've had the man advantage. They just control the puck so well, and it's been difficult for the Nordikes to mount any kind of attack when they don't have it.
Weir just knocked the Soviet player Shepelev's helmet off inside the Quebec zone as the Nordikes endeavor to bring it out. Luce had a chance, had it poked away from him, and now Sergei Kapustin, one of the better Soviet players this game and the last game too, works it ahead to Shalimov, the other Soviet veteran down behind Bouchard. Bouchard has been pretty steady and has been tested severely as the Soviets have certainly outplayed and outshot the Quebec Nordiques in this one. Puck rolling free. Kapustin, as Weir took a swipe at it, lost control. Now Weir with it again, got it to the line. Finally, it is shot back in offside. They delay the offside call for Quebec to bring it out with Moeller, but he gave it away to Kapustin. Kapustin breaking quickly left side, shooting. Bouchard makes the save. Rebound is still free. Hyder kicks it away to the corner in behind for the goaltender Bouchard. The Soviets appear to be everywhere, pouncing on the play at both ends of the ice, reacting very quickly. No question, they've got the superior legs here in this third period. Varnikov with it, works against Weir, digs it across, regains the puck himself, still inside the Quebec zone for Shalimov to Varnikov, quick shot, stick save by Bouchard. Riel Cloutier now rolled off his stick to Weir. Comes out to center ice. Hops past Zubkov. Cloutier chasing it against Zubkov, who does not body him in the corner, simply fights for the puck. Zubkov gets bodied by big Will Paymont as they battle for it along the boards, and finally it's flicked up in among the crowd.
Well, one of the things, one of the skills that the Soviets seem to have is we got to look at Will Paymont, who's played aggressively all night. Varnikov, they seem to be able to one-time that puck. That is, when the pass comes across, they don't have to stop the puck with their stick and then shoot. They can shoot all in one motion. That's what Varnikov did, and a good save by Bouchard because they don't wait. But a lot of their players have that skill.
Paymont got the draw. It rolls to Zubkov. Soviets break quickly from their own zone. Hit the center red line area. Zubkov with it. Takes it inside the blue line. It's passed across blindly. Recovered now by Paymont of the center ice area. His pass cut off by Zubkov. Nordikes being turned back time and time again with 4 minutes and 40 seconds to play. They trail the Soviets 3-0. Get an offside call there with Goulet in ahead of the play. Tretiak in goal certainly has made some fine saves, not the extent of the work that Bouchard, his counterpart, has. And we'll remind you, New Year's Eve tomorrow night, the Soviets against the Montreal Canadiens. Great history there. They tied the Red Army 3-3 New Year's Eve 1975. Beat a Soviet club 4-2 a few years later. The Montreal fans are ready for this one, as are the Canadians, despite some ill fortune of late. They've gone winless down over 5 games in the National Hockey League. Goulet drifts a shot wide. Held in by Pichet, and his attempt goes wide on the other side. Pervukin or Kapustin. And Kapustin now skates inside the Quebec blue line, feeding it in there. Pretty play, but the shot goes wide of the goal by Svetlov. Goulet sidestepped a sliding check from Semenov. Soviets on the puck at all times. All parts of the ice. Nordiks being stymied again in the center ice area. Sticks going high to the Quebec bench. Play goes right on. Kapustin to Semenov. Less than 4 minutes to play now. Tretiak, who in his 29th game is looking for his first shutout ever against NHL opposition and Canada Cup and Canada-Soviet Series, is 3:46 away from getting one now. Rochefort on defense tonight, a 21-year-old in his 3rd season for Quebec.
Well, another high-sticking penalty call coming up here, and it's discouraging, I'm sure, for the Quebec team to be down, but they just can't take penalties like this.
Rochefort again getting the gate. That'll be the hat trick for him in penalties tonight. He took 2 in the first period. 1 here now in the 3rd.
Well, it looked like a little bit of an elbow. His stick did get up high as the Soviet player went down, but he came through with his stick and his arm high, and high sticking is the call.
That is the 5th Quebec penalty in the 3rd period, and that's no way to stage a comeback. Many of them unnecessary. Long shot wide of Tretiak. Tretiak has to improve his lifetime 3.18 goals against average in the nets for the Soviet Union. DuPont golfing it back to the Soviet zone. We come down to 3 minutes and 23 seconds of playing time remaining. Betasov sends Krutov away, one of the classier Soviet players tonight. Back, the fast shot by Kazatanov, handled beautifully by Bouchard under intense pressure. Dan Bouchard has played very, very well here in this 3rd period.
Yes, he's been tested. There's a wide variance in shots. 34 shots for the Soviets, only 14 for the Nordiques. And he's been forced. Here's the quick shot. Kazatanov right from the point after they moved, and not much traffic in front of him. He was allowed to see it there. The Soviets have had 2 men in front, as Lou Nanny had said before, but then there was only 1 man skating close to the net.
Short, 1:10 left now on the Quebec penalty. It is shot down the ice by the Nordiques for Krutov of the Soviet Union. And the speedy Krutov away at center ice. Taken down as he crossed the blue line, does the slide looking for a penalty, and that is called. DuPont shooting it ahead inside the Soviet zone. Hunter tried to steal the puck there from Kazatanov. The Soviet defenseman comes up with it. Timonev inside the blue line on the corner. And again, the Nordiques certainly shoot it back out, and that's pretty much the entire story of their attack here, as they've been for almost 10 minutes now in this period, more than half of it. They have been shorthanded through somewhat unnecessary minor penalties. So it looks as though we'll be heading to the Montreal Forum for the rubber match tomorrow night, 1 apiece in this series. Sportsov skated off, gets some help from Varnikov in behind. And finally, it is jammed back by Cote to center ice for Quebec. Vladimir Zubkov got stopped and defeated back to Starikov. Soviets again content to kill the clock. Reserve the first ever shutout, if it is to be one, for Tretiak in goal. More headhunting going on. Ricks will call the penalty there. Another unnecessary one. The Soviet player's Lutkov was taken down unceremoniously right at the blue line. So the frustrations now of the Nordiques becoming more and more evident as we get down to the waning second.
Well, Zhluktov is going to go into the box as well, and Wally Weir. Wally Weir came in late when Zhluktov went back at Hunter, and he's going. Maybe he got third man in because he seems to be going right to the room. There's the indication for high sticking.
That'll go to Hunter initially. Soviet player retaliating.
There's Hunter putting the grab on Zhluktov, and then they get in against the boards and push one another, and Zhluktov comes back, and then Weir comes in, and I guess he's been given third man in because he's gone right to the dressing room. Another look at it here. There's the high stick coming across Zhluktov, grabbing around the neck and pulling him down. Zhluktov gets back up. Weir plays the puck, and then you see Weir coming in. Third man getting involved, and he's gone.
The penalties exclusively to Quebec. They did not finger the Soviet player. Zhluktov deemed innocent in that exchange. Hunter gets the one minor, and that was what started the whole thing. And then Wally Weir, for coming in late, he gets the other 2-minute penalty, so they're going to be short, as they have throughout this third period to finish it up here with 1:33 left. You know, you've coached Canada's Olympic teams. You can talk to the kids about don't take stupid penalties, but when you get down 3-0, the frustration level builds. They forget what you told them.
Well, that's true, but I'll have to tell you, it's not just Canadian teams that do that, because I watched our junior team beat the Soviet juniors in Winnipeg last year 8-0, and the Soviets were taking just the bad penalties. I love to see it because we're criticized a lot, and you don't like to see it, but at the same time, that's just not a trait of the Canadians.
There's Paymont now. Another penalty as he jammed the stick of the Soviet player right off the face-off. So, indeed, the Nordikes are losing any cool they had left here. Ricks will call him for high sticking once again. It's totally unnecessary, and somehow Bergeron's got to get to his team and say, guys, let's finish this thing with a little bit of class.
Well, you can't at this point. Right from the drop of the puck. I mean, there was no effort on Paymont's part, and really, that doesn't do much in front of your home fans to endear them, I'll tell you that.
Well, it's ridiculous. Paymont, of course, has been pretty active in World Hockey Championships. Out of hand here late in this game. Tikhonov knows that he is totally unsettled the Quebec Nordiques now. He's just got them frantically taking shots at his Soviet players, and that's the sign that he's done a pretty good job in beating them, which he has.
But of course now with 1:24 remaining, that's delayed penalty, so Quebec can't play any more.